Hello, everyone watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify. It's another episode of NRG Insights. For those that don't know or are listening for the first time, where have you been? Firstly, there's 110 episodes, but secondly, it is just with people that can add value into the mortgage world, whether that be commercial, resi, broking, lending, and ancillary products. So today I've got Dan Narwal from Together. Thanks for joining me, Dan.
Thanks for having me, Marcus. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, good. Absolutely. So am I. Yeah, we don't know how many stories we can say offline that we do online, but we'll start with. Talk to me about that journey that you've made. Like you said, you're a young old man in this game, right? You're bang in the middle. So talk to me about that kind of journey that you've had up to this point in financial services.
Yeah, so I suppose my career started when I left school at 16, like most people. Went into mobile phone sales, so that's where the sales side of me came quite early on, and then moved into a loan company. My dad was one of the directors of the loan company. The business had been running a few years, so he didn't bring me in straight away. So there was no favouritism there.
Out of interest, sorry to jump in so early. Did he want you to go and get a different sales background first before coming in for you? Because I think it's like, or was it just how it landed?
I think he probably wanted me to go out, work on my own, and also get the business up and running and make sure the business was there. Because if two incomes from one household,
Yeah,
because obviously
yeah.
as
Tell me
living at
about
home
that.
at
With
the
my
time,
wife.
if two incomes go, then it's not that I paid rent or anything like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
If
Yeah,
anything went wrong with his income, I would have been
yeah.
able
Got
to
you.
chip something in.
So carry on. So loan company.
Yeah, it was just unsecured personal loans, and I went in as some form of underwriter and sort of built from there. Moved on into sort of the mortgage industry. Went to Bank of Cyprus. Spent 5 odd years there and had various different roles. So I was a mortgage underwriter, and before that, I was part of the team of 5 to 10 of us that were setting up the regulated mortgage proposition that Bank of Cyprus had. So that gave me exposure
Were
to
you there the same sort of era as Nick from Mantra? Because he was Bank of
no,
Cyprus. Oh, he's a bit older than you
yeah,
actually.
he'd left, and then he left, and I think he went straight to
Metro.
straight to Mantra. He might have left and gone to Metro. I know him and Nimesh had some connection to Metro,
Yeah.
but set up the regulated mortgage proposition. Went into regulated mortgage underwriting, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that type of business.
Yeah.
Then became a BDM, and then moved on to their private banking team again as a BDM. Also, when Bank of Cyprus became Synergy Bank, when they were bought out, set up their bridging proposition, which we launched straight into COVID, so stopped that fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Um,
You hear that a
and
lot,
then,
just about products just coming out. Because it wasn't a bad time for us before COVID, was it? And a lot of people were
yeah,
just starting up new products or even like new businesses that would just suddenly just wallet. It's not happening.
exactly that. That's. I think we did 9 months in the market, so we spent probably 9 months building the product, and then 9 months with it live, and then March 2020 we decided that it wasn't the right time to be looking at short-term finance.
Yeah.
So I went back to the private banking team, which was again BDM, going out to brokers in London. Then the opportunity came to join Together, and when I saw Together from the outside, I saw a firm that was everywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
They're a monster, aren't they?
Yeah, and that was probably the deciding factor. I had my interview with Tanya, and she had so much passion for the business, which was sort of infectious.
Yeah.
But just the fact that I was joining a lender, or I had the opportunity to join a lender that was, I'd call it in your face, at events, always in the trade press, shouting about what they do, how they do it, that kind of thing. And there was a lot of great people. There still is. There was a lot of experienced, great people within the sales team at the time. A lot of whom you've had on
Yeah.
various previous
It
episodes.
stands to reason, doesn't it? If you've got 50% of the employed staff in the industry, I've got a fair few of them on here.
Yeah, exactly that. And it was just an opportunity to learn from some very experienced people, and go into a completely different size lender, type of lender. And 3 and a bit years in, haven't looked back, really enjoying it. And I'd say I've grown a hell of a lot in that 3 and a bit years I've been here.
Oh, good. So talk to me about this, because obviously you're city based, right? And you deal with some big stuff, some juicy stuff. And I know we've talked about this before about kind of misconceptions of what lenders do. How have you dealt with that Together? Because Together are known for doing lots of business, but like high volume stuff. And obviously, they're not based down here. So talk to me about that education piece you may have had to do. The difference between, because Together still do large loans, right? They're still a big part of their business, but probably not what they're best known for, as of some people who just do large loans. So how is that driving that kind of misconception into your brokers?
It's been a really interesting journey, and it's one that has been going for the full 3 years that I've been here, and I feel like we're getting to the stage where the message is really landing within the region. Perception is exactly as you said, and I've had that firsthand from the brokers. I generally lead with that. What is your perception of Together? And I then start the myth busting from there. So you're absolutely right. It's the perception that most brokers have is small loans, adverse credit, high volume, low value.
However, like an auction house in the north, you've got it nailed. But if they don't know about the large loan stuff, then like you say, people always have their go-tos, don't they? But it must be a tough gig as the BDM to go, look, this is actually us. We do everything. This is a big part of our business.
No, you're right. It's tough, but I think it comes back to education. And a lot of specialist lending, the whole specialist lending piece is all down to education. I spend and I enjoy myth busting. So that myth that Together only look at low value, high volume business is I dine out on myth busting. And I think understanding that we've got the processes and the knowledge to support them transactions is probably the biggest win that I've found, is making sure, first of all, that the teams in the office absolutely understand what brokers' expectations are. And there's been a lot of work that we've put into place to...
Well, you've got to nail that, haven't you? You can't go out, like a BDM's got the easiest job in the world if it works in the background. I liken it to my job. I can sell my business all day long because I know the team in the office are amazing at fulfilling it. Otherwise, it's just bullshit. Isn't it? I'm just going out picking up business that I can't complete. So it's exactly the same.
Absolutely.
For us glorified lead generators, we're just we're only as good as the office, right?
No, 100%. And so we put a lot of focus on getting the right team in place, the right knowledge, and the right processes as well, to say, yes, the perception is that it's low value, high volume, but actually we've got the processes in place, we've got the right people that understand these property types, understand these transactions, understand client scenarios when it comes to larger loans. So you can trust us, and you can also get the same deliverability and the same service that you expect from Together on your traditional business, let's call it. You can get that same deliverability on a larger transaction. So it's educated and making sure that we've got the right processes in place internally, and I think the rest follows suit, because we've got our credit policy, we've got what we can lend on, we've got our key principles of how we assess applications, to me, yes, the value of the transaction is important, but there is no difference between a 200 grand on 400 grand to a 2 million on 4 million transaction.
Yeah, your money. A lot of dough. No, it's true. It's true. It should be the
Yeah,
same process, right? The same as brokers who concentrate on one thing. It's the same process. Some is it's just the risk appetite, but it's the same. You should give the same deliverability, right? It's the same. Instead of one customer doing one transaction.
Exactly that. And the thought process, yes, it's more money. Yes, there's a higher risk, but the thought process should be the same.
Yeah.
If you're at 50% loan to value, you've still got your security, you're still assessing the client's means to pay and or exit the facility if we're talking a short-term bridge. You do that on a 200 grand deal, the same rules apply on a £2 million deal. You've just got a more in general terms, potentially, you've got a more experienced borrower, a borrower that's got a higher net worth. And the principles of lending are the same, and it's translating that message that we as together, who's the perception of us in the market is slightly different. It's getting that message across to brokers that we get it.
Yeah, good. Right, that's enough about together. They don't. You have to start sponsoring the podcast because you're right. There has been enough of you on, but let's talk about BDMs as a whole, right? Because I love the misconceptions that I speak to because I have the beautiful benefit and I'm very lucky that I get to work on the broker and the lending side. So I see from both sides of the table, and I know that brokers think that BDMs have the easiest jobs. I also know brokers, and it's generally not disrespectful the ones that make the difference, but there's some of them who are maybe not doing as well. They think, I just want to be a BDM because basically they see you for 10 minutes, right, don't they? They see you dropping in donuts, which is the BDM. We joke about it all the time, but talk to me about the misconceptions of BDMs, because I know from working both sides that it's massively misconceived on the broker side as to what you do and the graft you put in.
I think that's absolutely correct. There is a misconception about we call them in some of my colleagues, we call them biscuit BDMs, or we're perceived as biscuit BDMs. And
there are still those out there, right? There are still those out there that don't fully get aren't technically gifted, but can chuck out a biscuit.
I wouldn't like to cast aspersions on others, but I would agree that there potentially is still the biscuit BDM culture out there. I'll be honest, I get a hard time from a lot of my accounts that I'm not bringing in biscuits and donuts enough.
You can do both, by the way. Being technically gifted and giving donuts is not mutually exclusive. You can bang out both.
I like to think it is, and I've said to a few of my accounts, if I'm bringing something in, it's because I'm hungry and I need to pick me up.
Yeah, make sure. And then when they take them off you, they go, "Great, we'll get you tomorrow." Like, wasn't really the plan. Yeah. Generally, back to the misconception side of it. Talk to me about like your typical day when it comes to when you're going out and seeing brokers and you've got deals coming in. What talk to me about like the hours and that kind of thing. What's your typical day?
It starts. I like to pretend that I am committed to going to the gym and that's a regular thing before work every day. But it could start any time from sort of when the alarm goes off at 6 to 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. In fairness, I tend to I try and finish at a reasonable time in the evening, so that I've got some sort of work-life balance.
Yeah. But
I try and have my inbox cleared of inquiries, chasers, that kind of thing, so that I'm starting the next morning as a fresh.
Yeah.
If it is a day where I do get to the gym, I'll probably sit on my phone or on my iPad and just clear anything that's come in what you'd call unsociable hours that some brokers send their emails.
But these are just hours, aren't they? That's the funny thing. Brokers think you don't work long hours, yet they will happily sit at home sending inquiries at 7, 8 whilst they're watching Corrie. And then, it works both ways, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So occasionally I'll fire a few replies out before I head to the gym, and then I'll come back, more replies, and then I'll get ready to face the day.
Yeah.
Most brokers don't want you in knocking on the door at 9 o'clock, so you've then got that sort of travel window
Yeah.
from nine. I tend to say, um, go. I'm probably on the road 3 to 4 days a week. I'm probably in and out of brokers from 10, half 10ish to 3, half 3, and in between it's phone calls, emails. When I'm in the car, when I'm on the train, it's phone calls, emails, and then I come back and there's still the emails, case inquiries, case chasers that
I think that's the
need
difference
doing. So
maker as
it's
well.
it's
Sorry to
sort of
jump in.
a
I think that's what people don't appreciate is that once you've done all that, the inquiries aren't not coming in from the people you already know. Do you know what I mean? It's not like,
yeah.
if you're broken, you're sat in your office and you're working and then you finish that. It's not like, I like it. It's very different if you're going out generating your own business within broking. I liken that to being similar to a BDM. Is that you still got to do your main job outside of the thing you do, which is generate leads. So it's,
Yes.
it's a very tough
Yeah.
ask. It's different if someone's got it,
The
it would be amazing to have just everything incoming in the phone ringing, but it's not realistic for most of us. We've got to go out and graft and then do our job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If I my phone doesn't stop ringing the minute I knock on a broker's door at 10, half 10, and do an hour, 2 hour meeting, whatever it is, a training session, whatever type of meeting I'm doing. My phone doesn't stop ringing. The emails don't stop coming in.
Yeah.
So they're building up. Then you on to your next one, on to your next one. But that being said, it's a fantastic job where you can meet lots of interesting people, have lots of interesting conversations, and you can, if you've got 20, 50, 100 accounts in your region, whatever that number is, you can be an extension of 20, 50, 100 people's businesses. And
Yeah.
that tends to be how I look at it is I've got my together hat on all the time from a product, pricing, risk perspective. But I also try and place myself in that broker or in that case manager who's on the phone in their shoes
Yeah.
all of the time, and see myself as an extension of the firm that I'm going to see and the firm that I'm
Yeah.
going to
Do you know what?
meet. And
It resonates a lot with the with recruitment, right? Because I consider ourselves as a trusted partner rather than that just additional add-on where someone calls to moan or someone's got a problem. Like, we're a part of your business. As you know,
yeah,
it's say, my business is NRG. This is their bit. This doesn't make money. I don't make money. However, when we're working with someone, we're a direct reflection of them. I think that's really important to understand. I think that's the difference between being a door knocker and someone who actually gives a shit that they want to be a partner of your business.
yeah, I think that is even more important in the specialist market that we're in. I think you can probably for your big six and maybe some of your building societies, your tier 2 lenders, you can probably get away with the going in, quick catch up, quick chat,
Yeah.
and drop your donuts down. But I think in the specialist market, it changes so regularly, and what becomes specialist changes so regularly.
Yeah.
So I think we as specialist BDMs or salespeople in the specialist market have to be adaptable and sort of be that one step ahead of what's going on in the industry.
Because it is complex, isn't it? It's going to be a while before AI takes over this side of the business, right? Yeah, because there's so many variables and every case is different. I mean, even on resi now, you're not getting much vanilla stuff, but especially commercial, like, it's complex, isn't it? Your phone's going to be ringing more than ever because everyone's going to understand every complexity. So I understand, it's a trickier market.
100%, and I think structuring deals is, from a BDM perspective, being able to structure deals is more important now than it ever has been. And I think going back to that, putting yourself in your broker's shoes as you're looking at an inquiry, yes, you've got to find the right solution for, in my case at the minute, I've got to find the right solution for together.
Yeah.
But I've also got to find the right solution for the client and for the broker. So you're in three camps. You've got your risk and your pricing hat on here from your employer, but you've also got the firm that you're an extension of, or that you're being an extension of, and then you've got the customer on the end of it. And yes, I don't deal directly with the customer, but when an inquiry comes into my inbox, or I'm on the phone, or I'm in a meeting in an office discussing a deal, there is a client who is emotionally attached to that property because it's a regulated transaction, or emotionally attached to the project, or financially attached to the project.
Which is also emotional.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about the other side of it. I know you said about you stepping into the broker's shoes or being partnered with that. Because there are a lot of brokers listening to this, and this is not detrimental actually, because I think it helps people, because we hear all the time about the nightmare ones of, especially on commercial, where more and more people are coming into it, maybe not having a full understanding of it. What makes a good broker for you? Like, I know you said you have to structure a deal, but surely the best partnerships are when a broker understands how to do it initially. Right, we've seen it before, where like the postcode and the bloody right move picture, and say, what can you do? From a broker point, and again, not being hostile towards brokers, I think they need to know what's important for you guys, which makes them a better broker for their clients. What do they need to think about when they're getting deals together to get to BDMs or to get to kind of underwriting?
I think there's probably the 4 or 5 key principles. So it's who are you asking us to lend to? What are you asking us to lend on? How's the client going to pay it? How they're going to, like, if it's a bridge or even if it's an interest-only mortgage, how are they exiting? And give us them four bits of information. And what I say to my brokers is, you spend an hour, 2 hours doing some form of fact find. If it's a regulated mortgage, you're doing a full fact find. Yeah. If it's a commercial transaction or an unregulated transaction, you're still doing some form of fact find so that you can present a solution to them. Yeah. Once you've scoured the market, you can't put for lenders that have portals like us. It's very black and white. We ask you very black and white questions. You cannot put the full story onto a portal.
No.
You cannot put your full fact find onto a portal, because as a lender, we only need certain information on the portal to run the credit search, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Tell me the full story that you get in the fact find. So let's use adverse credit as an example. You're going to put the details into our portal. It's going to run a credit search. We're going to see the adverse credit. Yeah. You've already asked the client why they've got historical adverse credit. Tell me why it's happened. And again, when it comes to the advice piece on a regulated transaction, you are having to justify why this solution is right for the client. Mm-hmm. So you've already started justifying why we are the right lender. Yeah. Justify from the information that you've gathered why the customer is the right customer for us.
Yeah. And it drives me up the wall about them not being on it, like not telling other people up front, especially for us in financial services, like, credit problems. I mean, I'm talking about an employment side of things. Any problems we're going to come up with? No. I'm like, it's going to come up. And if you tell me now, I'll fix it now. But if you don't tell me now, then it becomes a character/trust thing. So it's a very different negotiation after you haven't told us the full truth. I think people do it because they just, if it's broken, I think maybe it's not an understanding of what is important, or maybe just see what happens. And I hate those because for an educated broker or an educated employer or whatever it may be, you've got to just be upfront from the beginning. If we can fix it, we can fix it. But we can't fix it when it comes up halfway through, because then it's a different issue, isn't it? It's an issue of lying, or it's an issue of, like I said, if it's client side, it's an issue of the character of the client. So you've always got to, it's so important. It drives me up the wall, because it gets found out. Nothing gets past us. We're in a world of information.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I think going back to the 4 or 5 key principles, our underwriters, especially on the large loan, follow what we call the Campari model, and it's quite a familiar banking term when it comes to assessing a client's credit worthiness, let's call it. And I think if brokers can structure a deal following that sort of Campari model, which is customer, asset.
Testing yourself now, aren't you? Should have written it down before.
I haven't got what each one.
I thought it's just a horrible bit of a Negroni that goes in the cocktail, but yeah, there's more to it.
Yeah. I haven't got the full acronym, but I know that's how the inquiries that come into my inbox that follow that sort of model are the quickest one. They get the quickest decision. They can go back to their client with the quickest terms or the terms quicker. Which then means they have a better chance of winning that deal from another broker. Because
I do think that's another aspect as well. I think people don't want to lose the deal, so they don't want to ask too much. Where actually the best broker asks every single little bit, and they won't lose the deal. But there is a nature of like, if I don't ask, they won't tell me. It's not the end of it. Do you know what I mean? Like there is an element that, especially for the slightly less educated broker who's trying to win business, maybe in a different, a different level that they have done before. I can see. I mean, it's wrong, but I can see why it happens when they're like, well, if I avoid this stuff rather than not asking through incompetence, you're kind of avoiding it. If it feels like you can get it moving quicker, so you're not losing it. Where actually the broker that asks the most questions, we say this to people about recruitment. I am going to take longer than anyone else when it comes to asking you questions, but I save you so much time in future. But we're confident enough to do it. If you're not, and you're working with people that you're maybe a little bit more afraid of, I can see how these things kind of fall by the wayside a bit.
I completely agree. I think there's so much competition in the broker space. There's less money in regulated mortgage transactions. A lot of clients are having to go down the product transfer route, which is less lucrative to brokers. So more brokers are dipping their toe into specialist and finding clients that need bridging finance, have commercial assets and need commercial finance. And they're all I don't want to say fighting, but they're all vying for the same customer. And we sometimes see inquiries 3 or 4 times, each time presented slightly differently. And you then, if 4 brokers in your region are sending you the same inquiry, but all slightly differently, as a BDM or as a credit function, you've then got to try and work out which one of the 4 is the version of truth. Generally what you'll find is the broker that has taken more time to understand the circumstances and, as you say, hasn't been concerned about asking the questions has a better success rate.
Has the right amount of information as well, right? Exactly,
and they get the right terms first time round, which means they can present the right terms to the customer first time round, which is it's the same from my side as a lender. I'm there to win deals from our competitors, and offering the most competitive terms that I can and the most competitive process that I can first time.
But it's got to be on all the facts, isn't it? Do you know what? I liken it to the old estate agency thing of like just saying, this house is worth 400 grand when you know it's worth 350, but they get the deal, but they know the deal's not going to go through. So it happens less and less. You're like, I'll be honest with you, that guy can't do it for that. This is what it is because now I know all the facts. This is what it's worth. But it's that old way of picking up a deal, and then but then you're baiting and switching, aren't you? Then it becomes that whole dirty. The reason that our industry needs to be more and more regulated because it's the bait and switch to pick up a client as opposed to doing the right thing by them.
That's the other thing I see quite a lot, and I think it's as the broker, as lenders spend more time educating the broker market, I think I'm starting to see it less, but the amount of times that we put out terms at, let's say, 70%, day one.
Yeah.
We'll put out the terms, and we contact the broker and say, put out terms on this 2-3 days ago. What's the feedback? Where's the client's head at? How do the terms look? And they say, oh, I've placed it with so and so lender.
They're all on here. You can't use names.
so and so lender, and then they come back round to you 3 weeks later and say, I said to you, so and so lender was going to do 80% and you were at 70. They're not doing 80%. They've knocked it down to 60.
65. Yeah. I know you hear it all the time.
A week out from funding, a week out from the auction deadline. Can you step in? And we step in every time because that's speed and
and the terms you do, you can do, so it's easy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's our bread and butter. But you then sort of get to the stage as you get more experienced as a BDM where you then start to say, next we'll do it, and we've got no issue doing it. But this is our bread and butter. We would have had this wrapped up.
Please don't do this every time. It's frustrating when it happens the second time. You're like, really? Okay. You go back to the 8% one, are you, that you can't do 8%. But it's frustrating because, again, another broker is telling that client, oh, no, we've got 8% with so-and-so, so they don't know about that other deal. So you have to expect to lose a few deals by doing the right thing. But initially, you're always going to, you do the right thing, eventually you end up on top, don't you? But it's we are in a very competitive market where people do need to win business as well. So it's a tightrope between doing the right thing by the customer and and we all need to make money. We've been in a tough market. I'm sure people have done whatever they can to try and get deals over the line. But that doing the right thing kind of never fails. You end up winning in the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. So let's touch on this. I mean, I said it'd be about half an hour, but I've kept you for a bit longer. But I haven't finished. But I do want to talk about the BDM side of things because I do, obviously, from a recruitment perspective, it's always interesting to me to speak to people who are being successful at it. But what do you think the character traits that you need to be a good BDM? What is it that kind of makes you stand out from the crowd? Because there's lots of people trying to do the job, right?
Yeah. I think absolutely knowledge is power, I suppose, in this game, and especially the specialist market, is understanding the products that you're going to be selling, honesty, and fronting up within that honesty, fronting up to your brokers in the sense of, if you've said one thing but the reality is you can't commit to that, it's heading that off straight away and being upfront about it. And I think the ability to take setbacks because you issue terms on X number of deals on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and what actually filters through to your pipeline and then filters through to completions
is very different number.
Dwindles down each time. So you've got to be able to take the knocks.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to accept that you're not going to win everything and not take it personally.
Yeah.
And I think listening as well, listening and understanding, because you'll speak to a lot of people and you'll speak to a lot of businesses, and it goes back to being an extension of your broker's business. Understanding what your broker wants from you, and what one question I ask new brokers quite often is two questions. What do you actually want from me as a BDM? Do you want me in weekly, monthly, quarterly? Do you ever actually want to see me, or are you okay just pinging me email inquiries, picking up the phone, that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
And who is, from the range of BDMs you have, who is your favourite BDM, and what is it that they do that I need to do? Do I want to be everyone's favourite BDM? It would be of benefit somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I do. I've got unnatural want to be like everyone. I want to be everyone's favourite recruiter when I walk in the office. I know what you mean. Yeah, it doesn't always translate to good business.
I'd rather. I don't mind being everyone's favourite. So all my brokers that are listening, absolutely, if I am your favourite, happy days. But I think
there is a vote after this. There is.
I want to be known for doing what I say I'm going to do and helping my brokers grow their business, whether that be through completions or knowledge and understanding of the specialist market, and sort of I'm comfortable stepping away from the together products just to help, whether it be a case manager or a new broker, helping them understand a particular product so it helps them. Does it necessarily benefit me and lead to leads and completions for me? Sometimes not, but I know that I've supported that broker on.
And do you know what? I talk about this in a lot of them. Like, good people understand long-term victories, right? And that is about helping people. And it doesn't always transpire. It doesn't always end up being money in your pocket. It doesn't mean deals in your pipeline. But you're right. If you can help the person from one conversation, it's always going to reap the benefits in the long run, isn't it?
Definitely, 100%.
Amazing. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate your time today. It's really good. And it is kind of, we talked about this before, like I don't tend to get the BDMs on, don't I? So obviously we've got like the kind of management side, and I'm trying to get the rising stars. But it is really interesting because, you know, part of our job, especially as what we're doing at the moment, is educating people on the different levels of what people do. And I'll talk about this all the time. If you understand everyone's journey, you have way more respect for what people do, but also you understand, like, it makes the client journey so much easier. So it's really useful to have people like yourself that come on and kind of explain what you do. So thank you very much for your time.
Really appreciate the time and the opportunity. I've enjoyed it, and hopefully from your side and the people watching and listening, they've found something useful and can take it, whether that be new BDMs, can take it.
Or if not, they've just enjoyed
journey.
sitting in traffic for the last 37 minutes and listening to us have a chat. So, you know,
there we go.
Win-win. Dan, just lastly, if anyone wants to get hold of you, obviously all your socials will be on our socials, but what's the best way of getting hold of you?
It'll be either LinkedIn, which I know you'll share, or my Together email address is dan.narwal@togethermoney.com, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions or come and meet any of you that want to have a chat.
Amazing. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. I appreciate you shedding some light on some of the misconceptions and that kind of thing. And thank you, everyone listening and watching. I appreciate everyone's time. And I'll speak to you soon, Dan. Cheers.
Appreciate it. Cheers, Marcus.